Come on, Uncle Bertie. I hadn't realized that old tub of yours would take 2 hours to reach Cowes. We're horribly late.
The wind was against us.
Pity we weren't on Meteor. She carries more sail.
We should have put in at Sandown and taken the train as I suggested. Mamma will be furious. This dinner's in your honor.
Then we have nothing to worry about. They can't start without me. Cheer up, Uncle Bertie. Don't look so worried. You know, I believe you're just a little bit frightened of your mother.
And it took you 2 hours to come round from Sandown? Well, that seems a long time.
We were on the Britannia, Grandmamma. I'm afraid she hasn't the speed of my Meteor, or we'd have been here in plenty of time.
Well, I trust you had a pleasant day's sailing. I believe your dinner is ready for you in the dining room. Bertie, you're late. We have already eaten. As we had no idea when you might arrive, it seemed the only thing to do.
I'm sorry, Uncle Bertie. I seem to have got you into a bit of trouble. Never mind. It's been a splendid day. Well, let's have dinner. I'm starving.
Now, Bertie.
It's all right, Papa.
He's insufferable, impossible. I've had about as much as I can stand today. He seems to think he's running the regatta.
I don't think he means it. It's just his way.
My dear Beatrice, if you'd heard him telling me how we could all be so much better organized, and not just once, but again and again, on and on, you wouldn't make excuses for it.
But he's jealous of you, Papa, that's all.
And that floating foreign office he keeps on board Hohenzollern. Do you know he had the cheek to summon the Prime Minister the other day, and when Lord Salisbury was late through no fault of his own, well, he lectured him for half an hour on the virtues of punctuality. It's too much, it really is.
Never mind, darling. You can get your revenge tomorrow by beating him in the big race.
No, I can't. No, I can't. Now he's refused to take part, says the handicapping's unfair. In any case, Meteor is faster than Britannia. I'm afraid he's right about that.
Couldn't you turn the tables on him by building a bigger and better Britannia? So, when he comes back next year...
You know, Toria, that's not a bad idea. I'll speak to Castle about it tomorrow.
You better go into dinner, darling. You don't want to keep Willie waiting.
Don't I? If I wasn't so hungry, I'd keep him waiting all night.
The boy I love is up in the gallery. The boy I love, he's looking at me. There he is, can't you see? Waving his handkerchief as merry as a robin what sits on a tree. Now I'm a young girl and I just come over from the country where they do things big. And amongst the boys I got me a lover, and since I got a lover now I don't care a pig.
There's only one way to beat him, my dear Ernest, and that's to build a bigger and better yacht.
Well, sir, speaking as your financial advisor, I'm afraid that unless the government is prepared to foot the bill...
I can't afford it, is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
Well, in that case, I'll give up yachting entirely. We'll sell Britannia and concentrate on horses, eh, Ernest?
Now, if I was a duchess and had a lot of money, I'd give it to the boy what's gonna marry me.
I don't know how you can even think of spending all that money on a new yacht when there are so many more worthwhile things needing to be done.
Daisy, my dear, I feel that you are going to speak to me of working men's clubs and the social conditions of the deserving poor.
Don't laugh at me, I'm being serious. Far too much money is spent on unnecessary luxuries.
Spare me, my dear. I came here to listen to Miss Lloyd sing, not to hear you lecture me on the new socialism.
I'm sorry, sir, but I believe we can make a new society if only
No one can make a new society, my dear. Society grows. It is not made. pretty song, don't you think?
Waving his handkerchief as merry as a robin what sings on a tree.
No, they're much too good to throw away. And as I shall certainly never wear them again, I think you'd better have Bessie unpick them. Then they can be cleaned and used as furniture covers or some such thing.
Yes, Ma'am.
Yes, it would be a terrible waste just to throw them away, don't you think?
Oh, there's some beautiful work in them, Ma'am.
Yes. I think they'd make excellent chair covers, don't you, Minnie?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good. Thank you, Charlotte.
Ma'am.
Oh, and Charlotte, would you ask Princess Victoria to come to me, please?
Ma'am.
I find I just don't wear such colours anymore. Not since my darling Eddie. Oh, Minnie, I'm so sorry. What a thoughtless thing to say.
Oh, why? We have both lost someone. You a son and I a husband.
He was one of the great Tsars. You must always be proud of him.
Yes, yes, I am. I hope Nicky will follow in his father's footsteps, but I'm afraid for him. He's weak. I know I shouldn't say this, but he has not his father's will.
He has you. You must help him.
Oh, yes, if I can, but since he's married Alec, the German influence is very strong. You know, it was the Kaiser who finally persuaded her to become Orthodox so that the marriage could take place.
That man, he has a hand in every pie. Bertie says he behaved appallingly at Cowes again this year.
Oh, how is Bertie? I should love to see him. Will he come down here?
Oh, he spends most of his time in London or with friends. He does a lot of racing now, you know. I ought to go with him, I suppose, but really I prefer to stay quietly here at Sandringham. Ah, Toria, dear.
Yes, Mamma.
Have you come to sit with your Aunt Minnie and me?
Charlotte said you wanted to speak to me.
Oh, did I? I wonder what...
I've spoken to the gardeners about the beds in front of the house.
Have you, dear? Thank you. I have such quarrels with them. They will insist on big displays, all very formal. I prefer the simpler, smaller flowers. No, dear, it wasn't that. Are you sure that's what your Aunt Charlotte said?
Yes, Mamma, quite sure.
Well, I'm afraid I can't remember. Unless it was about the hymns for Sunday. It may have been that. Will you see if you can find the list that Mr. Harvey brought? I must check it and send it back tomorrow. I think it's in my desk. Be an angel. See if you can find it for me, will you?
Yes, Mamma.
She's so good, Toria. I don't know what I should do without her.
She should be married.
Oh, nonsense. There's plenty of time for that.
Oh, don't be silly, Alex. She's 28. Louise and Maud are both married.
Yes, I know. But Toria shows no inclination for it. Anyway, I don't think I could manage if she went away just now.
Well, she can't stay here for the rest of her life, acting as a sort of unpaid servant to you.
Oh, Minnie, nonsense. She's perfectly happy. I hope she'll be able to find that list that Mr. Harvey brought. He is a bit inclined to choose rather noisy hymns. Sometimes I have to strike them out and substitute more suitable ones. One doesn't want to fight the good fight every Sunday evening, if you see what I mean.
But why was I not told, Prime Minister? It came as a complete surprise to me.
I can only assure you, sir, that it came as an equal surprise to Her Majesty's government.
Indeed. Well, what's happened? I see the newspapers are calling it the Jameson Raid. Who is this man, Jameson?
Well, sir, it seems that Cecil Rhodes, the Prime Minister of the Cape, sent this Dr. Jameson with some 400 mounted police on a raid into the Transvaal, hoping to incite a revolt against the Boer government of Paul Kruger, and thereby bring about a federated British dominion stretching from Johannesburg to the Cape.
And he's failed?
I'm afraid so. The revolt did not materialize, and Jameson was forced to surrender.
And you knew nothing about this?
Nothing, sir.
Well, it seems to have reached the Kaiser. I understand he sent a telegram to Kruger congratulating him on preserving his independence.
I believe that is so, sir.
Damn cheek. Well, what's Rhodes going to do now?
He has resigned and will return to this country for an official inquiry.
I see. Well, I hope we shall remember that if events had taken a different turn, he'd have been given a hero's welcome.
Yes, indeed.
And I should appreciate it, Lord Salisbury, if you'd keep me a little better informed about such matters. Your predecessor, Mr. Gladstone, managed it. And it's surely not too much to ask that I should know what's going on in a British colony before the Kaiser.
No, sir, I had thought Her Majesty...
Oh, she tells me nothing. I'm her master of ceremonies, that's all. I make arrangements for visiting foreign royalty. I've been doing it all my life. I'm very good at it.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yes. Well, I dare say we shall see you at Balmoral.
I hope so, sir. Her Majesty has been kind enough to invite me while the Tsar and Tsarina are there.
Good, good, good. Francis, will you see Lord Salisbury out?
Sir.
Master of ceremonies.
Such a pretty dance, and they look so nice in their kilts. I am glad you and Nicky were able to come to Balmoral. I think of all my homes, it is the one I like best. He loved it too, you know. Your grandfather.
Oh, yes. It is very pleasant here.
I hope Nicky is enjoying himself. And you mustn't let Bertie exhaust him with his shooting. I thought he was looking a little tired when he came in this morning.
Oh, never mind, my dear fellow. Perhaps you'll be luckier tomorrow. Weather wasn't too good today. I dare say it affected your aim.
We're going out tomorrow again.
Oh, good Lord, yes. Best shooting in the country up here, you know. I don't like to miss a day.
Well, I hope it will not rain.
Oh, I don't let a drop of rain bother me.
Tsar looks tired.
I think he finds the shooting expeditions a little strenuous.
But the Prince of Wales must be nearly twice his age.
His Royal Highness has always had enough energy for several men.
Yeah. Most of it, alas, spent in sporting pursuits.
That is hardly his fault, is it, Prime Minister?
Grandmama seems in excellent spirits.
Yes, she's 77, you know, and still as sharp as ever.
It'll be yours one day, Uncle Bertie. Well, you've had to wait a long time, but one day.
Oh, I don't think about it, my dear boy. These days, I simply don't think about it. Hello, George. What have you done with May?
Oh, she's gone upstairs to make sure the children are settled.
The perfect little mother. Have you been smoking?
Yes, Papa.
Well, for God's sake, eat some peppermint or something before you go anywhere near the Queen. You know how she hates the smell of tobacco.
Do you know what day it is today, my dear?
It is Tuesday, Grandmama.
No. I mean, what is special about today?
Yes, Grandmama.
On this day, I have reigned longer than any English sovereign before me. Now, what do you think of that?
How interesting.
Up until now, my grandfather, George III, held the palm, but today it has passed to me. Ah, Bertie, I was just telling Alecky that today I have reigned longer than any English sovereign before me.
Yes, Mamma, I know. Now, which of you two fine young men is going to ask this bonny wee lassie for a dance, eh?
George.
Too slow, too slow. Come along, my dear. Will you give your old uncle the pleasure?
Of course, Uncle Bertie.
if you are aware that today...
My congratulations, ma'am. I understand that on this day we've reigned longer than any other British sovereign, even including George III.
Thank you.
I remember I was once out shooting with your father at Sandringham.
Yes, Uncle Bertie.
You must have been there. You and your mother. You'd have been about 6. Too young to remember, I expect.
Oh, I remember staying at Sandringham.
We went on a picnic, that's right. It was before he became Tsar. I used to envy him then.
My father?
Yes. Yes, envied his power. In Russia, you're the absolute rulers of your country. I remember telling him I wished we still had that sort of authority here.
Oh, but the Queen is the ruler of her people.
In name, yes. But in fact, no, not anymore. And I used to regret that, do you see?
You do not regret it now?
No, no. I think now that if we're to survive, it can only be as constitutional monarchs.
You are content to be a figurehead? I could never be happy with such a position. We have a duty to lead our people. They are like children, and children need a father.
A father who orders or a father who suggests?
A child does not respect that sort of father.
Nor love the other sort. Well, that was better, eh, Nicky? Good evening, Prime Minister. Francis, we had some fine sport today, didn't we?
Yes, thank you, Uncle Bertie. I have enjoyed myself.
I still don't see why you need all those damn detectives. You're safe as houses up here, you know.
I'm afraid it is necessary. Now, if you will excuse me, I must change. I have to see Her Majesty in half an hour.
Yes, of course. I shall see you at dinner. What's this, Francis? An official meeting? I wasn't told about it.
Yes, sir. The Queen is meeting with the Tsar and the Prime Minister at 6 o'clock.
Her Majesty suggested we meet to discuss the situation in Africa.
I see. And I've not been invited to attend.
I'm afraid not, sir.
No. Well, I dare say it doesn't matter. I was planning to leave in any case tomorrow for Newmarket.
Sir?
Yes. Well, I suppose I better go and get changed. You coming, George?
Yes, sir.
Oh, dear. That was unfortunate.
Yes, I think if I may say so, Prime Minister, you're making a grave mistake.
Indeed?
His Royal Highness is much loved in Russia. He has been ever since he went there for the funeral of Tsar Alexander. His advice would be invaluable.
I'm sure you're right. But the decision to exclude him was not mine. The Queen insisted.
I see. So once again, when he could be of real service, he will not be at the council table, but at the races. Forgive me, Prime Minister. I know I should be used to it by now, but I'm afraid it still makes me angry.
I agree with you, Francis. Believe me, I agree with you. But what can I do? Until Her Majesty decides otherwise, I'm afraid it will always be the races.
Thank you.
Royal Highness, may I present this from Mrs. George Keppel?
Mrs. Keppel? Mr. Keppel. Right. Would you care to join me in the box?
Thank you, sir.
I believe I have to congratulate you, sir, on winning the Derby.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Thank you, Mrs. Gladstone. Yes, I'm particularly pleased as Persimmon missed the 2,000 guineas.
Indeed. I'm not a racing man, as you know, sir, but I understand that you are likely to top the winning owners list this year.
Oh, well, it's early days yet, but we're hopeful. Certainly we're showing a profit at the moment, and that keeps Ernest here happy.
I'm sure the country is proud of your Royal Highness' success on the turf.
Oh, well, I hope so, I hope so. Country hasn't always been proud of me. Eh, William?
I've always believed that if you had been given the opportunity, sir.
Yes, I know, and you did your best to get it for me. We all tried, didn't we? I wonder why nothing ever came of it.
At the risk of incurring your displeasure, sir.
No, go on, please.
Nothing ever came of it because Her Majesty is an obstinate and short-sighted old woman.
William!
Sorry, sir.
No, don't apologize. You're absolutely right. An obstinate and short-sighted old woman. And a great queen. Well, now, my dear, I believe you wanted to talk to Mr. Gladstone privately. No, don't get up. And I've promised to show Mr. and Mrs. Keppel the house. Allow me, my dear. Now, where would you like to start?
Well, my dear princess, what can I do? What can I do for you?
Oh, Mr. Gladstone, it's the situation in Greece. I'm so worried about my brother Willie.
Has the King of Greece been in touch with you?
Oh, yes, he's desperate. He sends me telegrams begging me to use my influence with the Queen, with the government. But what can I do? Well, who will listen to me?
What is the position now?
The Turkish army has reached Domokos. There's nothing now to stop them taking Athens. If only the great powers would act, it is our only hope. Will you help me?
Alas, dear lady, I only wish I could. But since I retired, I've had little enough influence with my own party, let alone the present government. As for Her Majesty, I sometimes wonder whether I ever had any influence with her at all. Why don't you see her yourself?
Oh, dear, I suppose I shall have to, but I do so dread it. Especially now, when she's interested in nothing but the Diamond Jubilee next month. But if I wait until that is over, it will be too late. Oh, dear.
And that, my dear Mrs. Keppel, is the man himself. And that's Persimmon just after the race. Do you remember, my dear?
Oh, yes.
Done by a fellow named Begg. It's good, isn't it?
Yes, it's excellent.
Brought it round for me to see this morning. All those hats in the air. I think it captures the atmosphere of the occasion, don't you?
I do.
Is there one or two other pictures might interest you? Portraits, that sort of thing. Of course, I'm no expert, but I'm told they're good.
There is even a silly fuss about what the celebration is to be called. Lord Salisbury wants the Queen's commemoration. The Home Secretary has even suggested the Jubilissimi. Jubilissimi. I don't see what's wrong with Diamond Jubilee myself. I believe that is what the people are calling it.
Yes, Mamma, may I?
There is to be a procession through London, and we shall stop by the steps of St. Paul's Cathedral for a short service.
May I talk to you about Greece now?
I'm afraid I should find the full Thanksgiving service in the Abbey too tiring this time. Although, of course, there will be a family Thanksgiving here in St. George's Chapel on the Sunday. Sir Arthur Sullivan has composed a special Jubilee hymn.
Mamma.
Yes, dear.
I've come here to ask for your help.
Of course, dear. I have always been glad that you and Bertie felt you could come to me with any little problem.
It's about the situation in Greece.
The situation in Greece.
The Turkish army is on the brink of overrunning the whole country. There have been anti-monarchist demonstrations in Athens. I'm so worried about my brother and his family.
Anti-monarchist demonstrations?
It is the Kaiser who's behind it all. He's encouraging the Turks. If only the great powers would act.
Now, Alex, don't distress yourself. I understand from Lord Salisbury that we are in touch with the Tsar about the matter.
But unless something is done
No, Alex. We will not speak of it any more. Now, I want you and Bertie to travel with me in my carriage during the procession. I believe they are decorating the streets with these new electric light bulbs. Of course, they don't give the same light as the ordinary gas jet, but I'm told they look very pretty.
Well, Francis, what do you think of it?
The costume, sir?
Well, of course the costume. What else?
Very impressive, sir.
I think the hat helps. There.
Magnificent, sir.
I don't know why I bother, really. But if everyone else is to be in fancy dress...
Your Royal Highness looks perfectly splendid.
Thank you, Francis. You'll give me a hand with that, will you?
Yes, of course.
I understand from the Duchess of Devonshire that she's asked over 3,000 people, so I dare say it'll be quite a crush.
Yes, the whole of London seems to have gone mad with the Jubilee celebrations, sir.
Yes, I shan't be sorry when it's all over. I'm afraid the Princess of Wales gets horribly bored at some of these functions.
What costume has Her Royal Highness chosen, sir?
Well, I believe she's going as Marguerite de Valois, but I haven't seen it. She's been so much preoccupied.
I'm afraid the situation in Greece is still causing her concern, sir.
Yes, I've asked Salisbury to keep her informed, but I'm afraid no one's much interested in the Greek question at the moment. Ah, Alex, my dear. What are you laughing at?
Oh, dear, it's that hat. you look so funny in that hat, my darling.
Oh, do I? Well, I thought it was rather dashing.
Well, will I do?
You look enchanting.
Do you think they'll know who I'm supposed to be?
I shouldn't think so, my dear, but does it matter? Come, we're late already.
It's my fault, I know. We couldn't find anything to pin the headdress with. Thank you, Francis.
I hope this sword isn't going to get in the way. It's rather larger than the one I usually wear.
Where's your hat?
Well, you said you didn't like it.
No, I love it.
Well, I left it on the table.
But you must wear it. Of course you must wear it. The costume is incomplete without it. Francis, would you...
I wanted to come here today of all days. A Diamond Jubilee. And with you, my dear. You were always his favorite child.
Yes, I know.
I don't think he ever understood Bertie. But he always seemed so happy when he was with you.
Don't, Mama. You'll make me cry.
I still miss him, you know. It is 36 years since he was taken. And I don't think there has been a single day when I have not thought about him and wished him alive again. I shall be buried here beside him, and quite soon, I think.
Oh, Mama.
Nonsense, child. I had expected to join him long ago. Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing still waiting around here.
Please, Mama, you mustn't say such things. You have never been more loved by your people than you are at this moment.
Yes. Yes, I really think that's true. Do you know, the other day, as we drove into the castle, there was a great crowd in the streets, cheering and shouting. And suddenly I heard a man's voice cry out above the rest, "Go it, old girl." I rather liked that. Go it, old girl.
Yes, Mama.
Well, come along. If we are to be ready to meet the colonial heads of state, we had better be going. Go it, old girl. It has a friendly ring to it, hasn't it?
Marvelous. Just like my snapshots, only the people actually move.
Extraordinary. Well, it certainly is a remarkable invention.
How does it work?
Well, I believe that what we see is a series of photographs passing very quickly through an instrument called a projector.
But why did it look as if it was snowing?
Yes, that was rather a pity, wasn't it? What did you think, William?
I didn't care for it myself. It flickers too much. But I dare say it'll catch on.
Well, I thought it was awful. I could hardly see a thing.
Hush, Doria. You don't want to upset the kind gentleman who've taken all the trouble to show us their photographic machine. Come. Did you enjoy it, Mrs. Gladstone?
Very much. And it will certainly be a blessing to those of us who cannot get about to see these events.
I suppose in future all important state occasions will be recorded in the same way.
Well, I hope they get rid of all that snow.
Well, William.
Sir?
All seems to have gone off very well, doesn't it?
How's your hospital fund progressing?
Oh, splendidly. I'm very pleased. We got over 200,000 so far.
Oh, good. Probably the most lasting thing to come out of the Diamond Jubilee. I'm the best.
Thank you, William.
I had hoped Her Majesty might celebrate the occasion by abdicating. Doesn't look as if it's going to happen, though, does it?
No, no. I'm glad to say.
Are you, sir?
What?
Glad to say?
Oh, yes. Yes. Well, once I'd have welcomed it, but now, do you know, my dear old friend, I'm not even sure I want the job anymore. Oh. To be quite honest, I don't think I could do it. Thank you.
Mr. Gladstone's body was carried into Westminster Abbey by 8 pallbearers, among them His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales and His Royal Highness the Duke of York. There followed a moving
No precedent. There is no precedent whatsoever for such an action. I shall telegraph Bertie. I don't know what he can have been thinking of.
Shall I go on, Mamma?
Yes, go on.
There followed a moving service during which the great man was laid to rest in the north transept of the Abbey, close to the grave of Sir Robert Peel. After the committal, while the organ played Mr. Handel's Dead March from Saul, Mrs. Gladstone was seated in a chair at the head of the grave, and His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, followed by the other pallbearers, walked over to where she sat and kissed her hand.
What?
His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, followed by the other pallbearers, walked over to where she sat and kissed her hand.
Very yes, at the moment I'm afraid we're not popular in Europe.
Over the war, I suppose.
Yes, both France and Germany champion the boys against us.
Pure hypocrisy. They're anxious to see British influence removed so that they may get their hands on the gold and diamonds in the Transvaal.
How is the war going,
sir? Not well. Not at all well, I'm afraid, Agnes. I trust our reverses are only temporary, but at the moment I'm afraid our army's being besieged in 3 places. Ladysmith, Kimberley and Mafeking.
That's terrible.
Well, yes, it is. And unexpected, too. I had a letter from young Winston Churchill the other day.
Yes.
Apparently, these Boers are not the ignorant farmers we were led to expect. Churchill says they're skilled fighters, trained to use the bush country in a way that our fellows can't match.
And are too stick in the mud to learn.
Yeah, well, that's one way of putting it, certainly.
I just wish that I could get out there.
George!
Believe me, my dear fellow, I know exactly how you feel. But the Queen would never allow it.
How is Her Majesty taking the news?
Oh, she's indestructible, my dear fellow. You know, when Arthur Balfour went down to see her in Windsor the other day, she told him she wasn't interested in the possibilities of defeat, as they didn't exist.
Sir James, may I ask your advice as a doctor?
Ma'am.
I'm most anxious to do something more to help our troops in Africa.
Yeah.
I'm sending out 12 nursing sisters, as I think you know.
Yes, indeed.
And I would like you, if you would, to look into the possibility of fitting out a proper hospital ship.
If Her Royal Highness would not think it impudent of me, I would like to do something to help too.
Oh, my dear Agnes, you know she'd be only too delighted.
Well, I had thought to turn my house at Grosvenor Crescent into a nursing home for officers. My sister Fanny has agreed to run it with me, but, well, of course, we shall have to find the capital.
Well, would you allow me to help you?
Miss Kaiser is persuading Papa to help her with a hospital for officers.
Yes.
Can he afford it?
Oh, I expect so, Your Royal Highness. At any rate, if he wants to, we must see that he can, mustn't we?
That would be more than kind of you, sir, but I didn't mean to suggest...
No, nonsense, my dear. No, I'm only too pleased.
I intend to concern myself in how the ship is equipped and run. As soon as we return from Copenhagen, I shall supervise all the details personally.
Your Royal Highness's interest will be invaluable. When do you actually go to Denmark?
Oh, very soon, in a week or two. Really? Best of all, the Prince of Wales is to go with me this time.
I'm taking Alex to see her father. This trouble with the Boers has caused so much anti-British feeling, I don't want her travelling alone, you see.
No, of course not.
We go the direct route, by train through Brussels.
Yes.
I've had a communication from the British consul. Because of the possibility of demonstrations, he requests that you do not leave the train.
Demonstrations? The place is full of policemen. What on earth's the fellow talking about?
We can perfectly well sit here until the train leaves again. Thank you, Francis.
Ma'am. I dare say we can. I intend, however, to stretch my legs on the platform.
Bertie, do you think that's wise?
Oh!
Are you all right, sir?
Yes, I think so. The fellow obviously wasn't a very good shot.
Thank God.
Ik wil het nu! Hij is naar boord! Oh, doe de bastard! Mannen! Mannen! I'm afraid we have to go there.
He's only a boy. Tell them not to hurt him, Francis. Only a boy.
It's no good. I shall never take to this new stitching. May's trying to teach me, but my poor old fingers simply will not learn.
You were always so good at needlework. Do you remember when we used to make our own dresses? Mamma would find patterns for
Poor
us.
Mamma. I do miss her, Minnie, even though it's almost 3 years now since she died.
Yes, I suppose we should be used to it.
What's that, dear?
People dying. First your Eddie, then my Sasha and my George. Mamma, and now Effie.
Don't, Minnie. I can hardly bear it. And Vicky's so ill.
Does the Queen know about Vicky?
I don't think she realizes how serious it is. They've kept that from her.
How is she?
The Queen? Oh, she's very up and down. Sometimes she's full of energy, dashing about, visiting hospitals, reviewing troops. But her sight is bad, and she suffers from insomnia a lot.
Well, it can't be long now, you know.
What, dear?
It will soon be Bertie's turn. You will be Queen, Alex. Queen Alexandra.
Oh, Minnie, what a thing to say.
Well, it's true.
Oh, look, I've got the threads all twisted. I shall have to ask Toria to unpick it. Will you ring the bell for me? Oh, dear.
And what are you going to do about that little problem?
What little problem?
Oh, she'll never be married now, you know.
Who, dear?
Toria.
Oh, nonsense. There's plenty of time for that. She's still quite young. In any case, I don't think I could spare her just at the moment. She's helping me so much with all the arrangements for my hospital ship.
Oh, that war should be over. It's ridiculous the way it drags on. What did they say when it started? 3 weeks, and here we are in the 2nd year.
Winston Churchill says the Boers are tough fighters.
Well, that's as may be. But if the whole might of the British Empire can't quell a few rebellious Boers, I don't know what the world is coming to.
I think it's a little more complicated than that.
And what happened to that wretched youth who tried to assassinate you in Brussels?
His name was Cepido. It turned out he was a member of an anarchist group and only 15. It seems the Belgian court has cleared him of having any criminal intent, which seems a little odd.
But that's outrageous.
Yes, Bertie was rather upset. Still, I suppose as he was so young... Ah, Toria, dear. I seem to have gone wrong with the stitching somehow.
If George and me are coming over for dinner tonight, I shall just have to put Ernest Castle next to her again. Seems hardly fair on the poor manners. One knows she's dreadfully dull, but I can't think of any other way of doing it.
Yes, dear. And Mrs. Keppel next to your father. Oh, my dear, did you see her out driving with Bertie this afternoon? She's grown so dreadfully stout.
And so is Bertie. He's eating too much again.
I know, it's terrible. He eats anything and everything and never bothers to chew his food at all. It's so bad for him. But since he got back from poor Affy's funeral, he's been so low. I haven't liked to bother him.
Will he go to Homburg again for the cure?
I don't know. He's worried about the Queen. He doesn't like to be out of the country for too long.
There. You see? He knows it's coming, even if you don't.
Stop it, Minnie. I won't listen to such talk. Toria, dear, would you run over to York Cottage and ask May if I could have the children for this afternoon?
Yes, Mamma.
David is growing up such a pretty child, and young Bertie has a sweet nature. May's very good. She lets me have them whenever I want them.
Come in. Hello, Francis.
Sir.
Sorry not to have warned you I was coming up.
Will Her Royal Highness be joining you here, sir?
No. She's staying on at Sandringham for a while. I'm afraid I got bored. Can't seem to get on with anything.
These are difficult days, sir.
Are they? Yes. Yes, I suppose they are.
Would Your Royal Highness like me to arrange an opera or theatre for this evening?
No. No, thank you, my dear Francis. I'm having dinner with Agnes Kaiser at Grosvenor Crescent.
I understand the services of her nursing home are much in demand, sir.
So I believe. Well, I dare say I shall hear all about it this evening.
Knowles here? Ah, Fritz. Yes, His Royal Highness is here with me. One moment, Fritz. It's Ponsonby, sir. He's speaking from Osborne.
Thank you. Hello, Ponsonby. This is the Prince of Wales speaking. I see. Yes, of course. All right, Ponsonby, tomorrow morning. Yes, I'll get a special train. Thank you, Ponsonby. Goodbye. She's dying, Agnes. This time it's true, I'm afraid. The doctors say it's only a matter of time.
I'm very sorry, sir.
I'm going down to Osborne first thing in the morning.
And the Princess of Wales?
She's coming from Sandringham. She'll join me there. I'm frightened, Agnes. It's ridiculous, isn't it? After waiting all these years, it looks as though it's going to happen at last. And I'm frightened.
It would be most unnatural if you were not, sir.
I don't think I can do it. I don't think I'm fit to reign anymore.
That's nonsense.
But is it? I wonder. Once, well, years ago now, I longed for the opportunity, but now, well, I'm nearly 60. And so many people seem to expect me to fail.
Who expects you to fail? Who?
Well, there was an article in the Times the other day. I can't remember exactly, but something about various incidents in a long career lead us to wonder, you know, the sort of thing. But it's not just the newspapers. I see people looking at me and thinking, will he do? Has he got the guns for it?
Oh, you'll very soon show them that you have.
Perhaps it would be better to stand aside, let Georgie do it. He's young, he has the energy, he and May.
No, sir. You cannot, you must not even consider such a thing.
Well, you see, thank you. I'm tired. I haven't the stomach for the fight anymore, and you need that. Oh, Mama had it. Right up until this last year. Oh, she was old, going blind, hardly able to walk some days, but the will was still there. I'm afraid I may have lost that will, if I ever had it.
You must not think like that, sir. Every man has doubts. Only a fool is certain all the time.
But I can't change, Agnes. I am what I am. Do they realize that? Or do they expect me to become a sort of copy of my mother?
You are greatly loved, sir.
Am I? Am I really, Agnes?
Yes, sir.
A king after so long. How will they take it?
They will support you, sir. Be sure of that. It will give you the strength you need.
Well, we shall soon see. And thank you, my dear. Thank you for not talking to me of my duty.
Am I better at all?
Yes, ma'am.
Then, please, may I have Turi?
Here he is, Mama.
Is she any better?
I'm afraid not, my dear.
Francis says the Kaiser is coming.
Yes, he more or less invited himself. There wasn't much I could do.
So long thy power hath blessed me, shall it still lead me on. On moor and fen, or crag and torrent, till the night is gone. And with the morn those angel faces smile, which I have loved long since, and lost awhile.
dear.
Kaiser has arrived, sir.
Thank you, Francis. I'll come down.
Uncle Bertie. I have come as a member of the family. I would like to see Grandmamma once more before she dies. But if that is not possible, I shall entirely understand.
Thank you, William. I know Mamma would wish you to be present. Shall we go upstairs?
Bertie. Bertie.
Skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God. And I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold. We brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Permission to sail, sir.
Why is the Standard at half-mast, Captain?
Because the Queen is dead, sir.
But the King lives.